Welcome to The Beat. I'm Ben Huneke, Head of Investment Management at Morgan Stanley, and with me is Nisha Patel, Managing Director, Head of SMA Portfolio Management for Fixed Income at Parametric. Today we're going to explore opportunities for navigating taxable and tax-free fixed income. Nisha, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get started. So given the recent economic data and the results of the election, there's been significant changes in the yield environment. Clients often ask, where should they be investing along the yield curve? What are you telling clients today?
I think a lot of the uptick in yields this year has been from a better than expected economic picture that we've seen. And I think that narrative has really been holding true for the past 6 to 12 months. And so now you have the market pricing in a Fed that may be going slower in terms of the cuts that were going to take place and possibly where that end neutral rate takes place. You also have a new administration coming in next year, right? A kind of potential impact from that being priced in. So in short, we're saying there's some uncertainties there that are very hard to position for. But with what we know, the two things are absolute yields are high and we have a steeper yield curve. So for clients that are just wanting to dip into fixed income and add a little bit of exposure, you can even stay in the short end of the curve, right? For those clients that want to really lock in yields for an extended period of time, I think there is an advantage of going further out the yield curve and possibly benefiting from price appreciation if rates are to fall over the next 6 to 12 months.
So what are the ways advisors think about diversifying risk across the yield curve is using laddered portfolios?
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about why a client would want to use a laddered portfolio to implement a fixed income strategy.
So a laddered portfolio, I think, has three main benefits. So the first is that it's going to give you a lot of flexibility in terms of how a client wants to take exposure. So you can set maturity parameters, you can set credit parameters, state preferences on the municipal bond side. So it really allows the client to create a customized approach of adding, let's say, beta exposure to the fixed income market. The second is that it's a very rules-based approach. So a lot of clients, not necessarily a buy and hold approach, but if you have a 1 to 10 year ladder, for example, there's a lot of comfort in knowing that every year 10% will roll off and I'm going to go on the back end and reinvest. So that rules-based approach gives that client the reinvestability kind of every single year that's going to take place, which is beneficial in a positively sloping yield curve. And the third is that we have tax loss harvesting capabilities. So when you start coupling that with ladders, it's a very powerful combination in terms of adding exposure in a customized way and often in a low fee way.
Well, talk to us a little bit more about that because it's a relatively new innovation, which is tax loss harvesting in fixed income. How does Parametric get that achieved?
It's kind of perceived that tax loss harvesting or maybe traditionally is always looked at towards the end of the year. So right now we're sitting here, kind of almost in mid-December, and then maybe investors and advisors might say, okay, I actually need to start looking at these portfolios to start tax loss harvesting. The reality is that in fixed income, even in equities, it's really going to make sense at just this time of the year, right? If you take a look at where bond yields have been even in this year, they peaked about in that April and May time period. It would have been more beneficial if you had the approach of doing this continuously, which we do at Parametric, to have harvested around the year and doing this on a year-round basis. So that's what really kind of differentiates the process that we have at Parametric, and the technology that we've built really allows us to do this at scale, even on a customized basis when you're looking at a very broad and wide set of clients.
So client needs change based on who they are and where they live in these markets. What's your best idea for clients in terms of how to customize these strategies for their own personal situation?
So we launched a strategy about a year ago called Tax Optimized Ladder. So within the laddered framework, where you do have the customization capability and you have the ability to have a rules-based approach, Tax Optimize allows a client to focus on after-tax yield, and we'll customize the exposure across a few different asset classes, investment-grade munis, investment-grade corporates, and treasuries, based upon their individual federal and state tax bracket, which is just so powerful, right? So we talk about Parametric and really what we're focusing on. When you talk about the element of customization, there are very few other managers out there really customizing accounts on a client-by-client basis based upon their tax rates. So this strategy for every individual client will take that as a form of customization, and then from there determine really which asset class is going to be the optimal.
So that's pretty amazing at a client level, based on state, based on tax bracket, and based on what's going on in the fixed income market that day.
Correct.
The portfolio is optimized. That sounds like a big technological challenge. Like talk to us a little bit about Parametric and technology. Where are we investing? Where is Parametric differentiated when it comes to technology?
Parametric has a long history of managing separately managed accounts, certainly on the equity side, on the fixed income side. So I think that experience really gives us a leg up. And we've been investing in technology for quite a few years now. We have an internal technology platform called Radius. And so Radius, just at a high level, is what is allowing us to do so many different components of scaling the customization, investing, tax loss harvesting, even operationally and on the client service side. When it comes to scaling, Tax Optimize, again, I'm not going to make this seem like an easy feat. So this was almost 2 years that was kind of in the lab, if you will, of creating a Tax Optimized ladders. But we knew what we had to create. We had all the different pieces, given we were doing treasury ladders, given we were doing municipal ladders, given we were doing corporate ladders. We then had to really just figure out how we can do this on a customized client-by-client basis and intaking all that information, and then on a live basis, to your point, when that account hits, based upon your individual tax bracket, really optimizing across that part of the curve that you've chosen.
Nisha, amazing, amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming in. While we have you, I want to ask you a couple personal questions. What's your favorite business book?
I would say my favorite business book is probably Atomic Habits. I think that's by James Clear. And so it's a business book, but I think it also helped me on the personal side. It's just about creating small actions and small habits, and over time, how that compounds into very powerful outcomes. So you start doing that within organizations, within teams. Again, these don't have to be major initiatives, but if you create a culture of efficiency and innovation and taking small steps to get there, over time, that has a massive compounding effect. And then, on the personal side, right after brushing my teeth, let's get out 5 push-ups, and that's a win as well.
People always say, make your bed. Make
Yes,
your bed. That's
yes,
like a little
yes.
step that sets you up for the day. So what are some of the things you enjoy outside of work?
Really spending time with my family. I have a 10-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old son, and they're at a fun age to where we really enjoy taking long bike rides, really enjoy hiking, we enjoy cooking and baking together. We've also started to take a lot of big international trips, so that's been a lot of fun to enjoying with them as well.
Great.
Yes.
Nisha, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ben.
And thank you all for watching. We're going to continue to monitor developments in monetary policy and fixed income markets to keep you connected. Follow for more insights and to stay informed on all of our latest content. Thanks again for watching.